YouTube? You already know. Big Lou tapping back in. One more again. The Latin assassin himself. And what it do? Big Lou NFCR2. Baby, baby. Bye. So check it out. I mentioned yesterday in one or two of the shorter videos yesterday regarding all the attention and new developed info that came out of the Olympics on the in the women's side of boxing, right? Imane, Khelif, and I can't think of the lady's name from Taiwan, but uh, I'll get to that in a minute. But um, so the stories came out with Italy. Angela Carini goes 46 seconds with Imane Khelif, and she decides to quit within 46 seconds of the fight starting. Like I said in the previous video, she took a hit. She got punched. Bam, and knocked her chin strap chueco off, jacked up, right? And then the next punch was more to the nose, and she said she felt extreme pain, and she had never been hit like that before. So, with that alone, hearing those two things, right? First, that she only went 46 seconds, that she quit, and then that she's never been hit like that before, goes with the narrative that everybody came out to not to support on the side of opposite of, or how should I say that more correctly, came out to support of the Italian girl lady, in the sense of, and I said this too, but I'm going to tell you guys something which I don't know if you guys caught it in the video or not, but so we said, like, man, that's a shame. You hear somebody trains all this time like that. This is basically the pinnacle of their amateur career. Is fighting for their country in the Olympics on most stages, right? Because we know now basketball and I think baseball too. You could be a professional and play in the Olympics, right? As you see with the Dream Team, 1992 Barcelona, and ever since we pretty much won a gold every time, except for I think 2004. I think it was. We got a bronze that year. I think it was a bronze. That was the year Puerto Rico beat us and beat the United States, right? So most everybody was on that train, right? And then the lady, and I'll be honest, like I was in the video, I was saying that that's a damn shame. And on top of it being a shame, letting a man fight in the women's sports is hella dangerous, because I don't care how you chop it up, how you look at it from an angle, how you look at it from a high building looking down. If you lay on the floor and look that way, if you spin around 5 times and then look at it, or if you spin around 5 times with a blindfold on and try to find your way to it, it's dangerous, right? It's dangerous because men are physically, genetically stronger. At least it's got to be at least, I would say, at least 7.5, 8 times out of 10, if not more, right? This is just common sense. I'm speaking from common sense because I don't really know, because you do see some big women that are strong as hell, right? I remember all the different Samoan ladies, dudes that I knew that their sisters were tougher than them. You know what I'm saying? Big women, just big sized women, not fat, they're big, husky women, and they would whoop your ass. You know what I'm saying? They'd throw you around like a rag doll. So, we have those exceptions, but that's why I say 7.5, 8 times out of 10. Now, again, it could be bigger. It could be a bigger percentage than that. So you're talking 75 to 80% from what I just said. Now, like I said, I don't know if that's exact. That's just from me speaking from just common sense, right? Uh, so when the Italian girl said, "Damn, I've never been hit like that," and felt that pain, everybody just, yeah, because it's a man, right? And then we went with because she was tall and her shoulders were more wider, and her facial structure. If you look at her, it just automatically goes that way, right? Okay, so when they started looking at the deal from the 23 championships, the world championships, or whatever international event it was, because the IOC wasn't involved with that, because that was a world championship, it wasn't an Olympic, right? So anyways, these two people I'm gonna say people for right now, but then I'm gonna break. I'll let you guys know. The Taiwanese lady, and now I'm saying lady, so don't get confused. Hopefully, and Imane Khelif of Algeria were both uh, suspended, canceled out from performing fighting. What they didn't tell you was is that they pretty much fought almost the whole tournament until towards the end when it was time to get medals, right? Towards the medal qualifying rounds, right? And that's when they said this identifying gender identifying or whatever, and that they came back with XY chromosomes, right? Which means basically they're basically saying that their testosterone levels were high. Okay, so automatically, ding, people say they're men. That's what they got out of that. Okay, in my first video, I said that she was from Algeria, right? And I made emphasis, put emphasis on that Algeria is in North Africa. It's a Muslim nation, right? And I even said I believe it's part of the UAE, United Arab Emirates, I believe, but I could be wrong about that. Nobody said nothing in the comments. Yes, you're right, you're wrong, and I haven't looked it up. But that doesn't matter what I'm getting at because, like I said, Algeria, Morocco, Egypt, Libya, those are all North Tunisia. Those are all North African nations that are Muslim, right? That are Muslim. They're more Arab skin color and tone. They're not more. They're not African. Uh, More. If you think Africa, you think of Nigeria and Congo and Zimbabwe and all that, right? Okay. Muslims are dead set against anything like that. Homosexuality, transgender. You're talking about death, right? Death, and a lot of the areas over there are not democracies where voting. There's no voting. It's more of a if there is voting, it's monitored voting. It's where they can put their foot step in and make it that it goes another route, right? Fixing it. So when I learned that Imane Khelif was from Algeria, something was telling me in my mind, even though I was making the video and saying what I said, something was telling me that I don't know about this, right? So as the days been following, that's some of the things they were saying about like it was basically corrupt with the procedures that they were doing in that world championship in 2023 when these two boxers got kicked out or disqualified, and they already had started the tournament or the international competition, and then they were canceled out, disqualified later, and the the organization that did this so-called gender I forgot how they exactly called it, gender revealing or whatever it was, you know uh, they got some real issues, right, within. So this is what I found out as well. Khalif was born a woman and was raised a woman, or born a female and raised as a female, a girl. Khalif could have been born with a congenital disease that caused a disorder of sexual differentiation at and at the time Khalif said the ruling meant that I'm talking about 2023. The ruling meant um, that ruling meant what they ruled against her characteristics that meant she couldn't box with women, excuse me. But she was the victim of a big conspiracy with this disqualification. She initially appealed to the court of arbitration for the sport, but later withdrew, right? So I kind of understand now. She came out and the way she was cocky, right? Because at first I was like, damn, that's kind of cocky. You're gonna beat them all, but uh, it was a lot of frustration built up. Then later on, she yelled, I'm a woman." You know what I'm saying? You gotta. I mean, people like to talk shit and say things, And you know, a lot, it's like off first instinct, first emotion. You know what I'm saying? Without really knowing what's going on. Let me. Okay, I want to. What's his name? Logan Paul. Logan Paul. Originally came out. Like I kind of like I did, but more what you call more more with conviction, more with just more with that nonsense that we've been hearing. And there was a few other outlets too, and they made another video talking about how they were wrong. They didn't have all the information, right? So let me read what this says. So see, after Khalif's win in her match against Italian boxer Angela Carini at the 2024 Paris Olympics on Thursday, Logan Paul posted on X, "This is the purest form of evil unfolding right before our eyes. A man was allowed to beat up a woman on a global stage, crushing her life's dreams while fighting for her deceased father." So that's how we all, that's how we all thought originally, right? When we seen what we seen, okay. But since then, he's retracted. So let me. So he says here, Logan Paul admits to spreading misinformation about making controversial remarks after Olympic boxer Imane Khelif. Um, okay, Logan Paul admitted to spreading misinformation. Okay, after Khalif's win in a match against Italian. Okay, I read all that. Pure sin and evil. A man allowed to beat up a woman. Okay, I read all that. This delusion ended. Okay. Khelif is a woman who is not transgender nor identifies as intersex, according to GLAD and Interact. Paul's initial post prompted numerous comments calling him out for misinforming his audience about Khalif's gender. The internet personally then issued a new statement which read, "Oopsie, I might be guilty of spreading misinformation along with the entirety of this app." He later added, "I stand by my sentiment that biological men should not compete against biological women in any sport, and if you disagree, you're a sick fuck." Um, Although she's been previously disqualified for failing a gender test and has XY chromosomes, some sources say Imane Khelif was born a biological woman. Khalif's opponent, Carini, abandoned the match a few minutes into its start following several blows to the face by the Algerian boxer. Afterward, one post on social media wrongly claimed Khelif was transgender and assigned male at birth, which led to an online frenzy with people debating whether or not Khelif should be allowed to box in the women's category. And this is another thing I was going to say too. I guess the Olympics go by the passport. Whatever the passport says on there, that's what they go by. And supposedly uh, the, the World Games, uh, they do gender identity. So I'm not sure if they actually make them drop their drawers or what that means. Okay. Um, what was that? Okay. J.K. Rowling and Elon Musk were among the high-profile names condemning the Olympics for allowing Khalif to compete in the women's boxing competition at the Paris 2024 Games. Well, first of all, Elon Musk his word shouldn't be taken at all. He's a straight scumbag who who goes out and bashes their own kid like that. His kid's transgender, right? I don't know if he's born a male and lives his life as a female. I don't know. He makes some bullshit that he thought it was because of COVID he wasn't there to know for sure, and he got bamboozled into signing something. We're talking about this genius, this genius guy. He got bamboozled. You know what I mean? But now he's gonna come out publicly and bash his kid, like who people that air their family business like that. Uh, their child. I'm talking about their child, right? Their kids, like, and his kid's not even an adult yet. I don't believe. You know, and just to bash your kid like that, for bash your kid like that just to appease to a group of people, that's chicken shit, man. Um, though Khelif was disqualified from last year's Women's World Championships after she failed a gender eligibility test due to elevated levels of testosterone. There you go, gender eligibility, not gender identity. Uh, the elevated levels of testosterone was in her system. She was nevertheless allowed to compete at the 2024 Olympics as she did in Tokyo in 2020. And this is another thing too. This lady's been boxing for some years now. It's not like she just showed up last year, as you just heard me, 2020 Tokyo. So we're talking 4 years already. Um, Following the controversy, the Olympics has stood by its decision to allow Khelif to compete in the women's boxing competition, saying everyone competing in the women's category is complying with the competition eligibility rules. They are women in their passports, and it is stated that is the case that they are females. Okay, on Saturday, Khelif broke down in tears after winning the 66 kilogram quarterfinal boxing match against Hungary's Anna Luka Hamori. This followed her posting a controversial, now deleted image on Instagram of a muscular, horned monster facing off against a female boxer. Khelif will next face Thailand's Janjiam Suwana Feng in the semi-final on April 6th. So that's tomorrow. Right? Okay. Here's another one. Olympic boxer condemns spirit-killing bullying amid gender controversy. Algerian boxer Imane Khelif shared a message for all the people in the world about bullying this week, following the controversy surrounding her gender at the Paris Olympics. After being subject to misgendering and disqualification from competing with the International Boxing Association, the IBA, which she previously said committed an injustice against her, Khelif said in a sit down with SNTV that people should refrain from bullying all athletes because this has massive effects, and bullying can destroy people. It can kill people's thoughts, spirit, and mind. It can divide people, and because of that, I asked them to refrain from bullying. Before competing in the Paris Olympics, Khelif, along with fellow female boxer Lin Yu Ting from Taiwan, had been disqualified from competition by the IBA because they had XY chromosomes in their DNA. The association said in a statement that their genetic makeup had posed an unfair advantage and disqualified the athletes to maintain the integrity of the competition. The news had quickly become misconstrued, particularly in Khelif's case, as she was widely misgendered by the press. The Boston Globe had to issue an apology after referring to Khelif as trans in a print headline. As the Olympics doesn't use the IBA's genetic testing and instead almost said inmates, allows athletes to compete with the gender listed on their passport. Both Khelif and Yu Ting were permitted to compete. Further controversy ensued for Khelif after she competed with Italian boxer Angela Carini in a match that lasted 46 seconds. As Carini quit the match early because I have never been hit so hard in my life, she told reporters. Carini tearfully shouted, "It's not fair," following her tap out, further adding to calls that Khelif be banned from Olympic competition due to her male chromosomes. Hashtag I stand with Angela Carini trended on social media in support of Carini as Khelif faced continued backlash. So this lady she's already been attacked big time, right? Obviously the Olympics been attacked, the IOC's been attacked, Paris has been attacked, the president Macron's been attacked, our president's been attacked, people on the left have been attacked, right? From right side, people. Um, but the main thing is this lady. Here she is going through all this shit, and all she did was trained all her life to do this too. So the same freaking argument that I said for the lady thinking that it was wrong. I mean, other sports, I mean, like other sports, anything that got to do with strength. I don't think uh, a biologically born male should be, even if they transitioned into a female, should be allowed because muscle has memory. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Muscle has memory, and they're just naturally stronger. So it is what it is, right? Um, so any sport with contact, such as judo, uh, boxing, uh, wrestling, collegiate wrestling, our Olympic wrestling, Greco-Roman style wrestling, and, even shot putting. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be allowed, and not so much on the shot putting because of strength, but anything that it could be dangerous. They can hurt them. They can kill them. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why when she said it's not fair, I've never been hit so hard. I never felt that power like that. Everybody just automatically, because it's a man, And so on the flip side, Imane Khelif, she's been training all her life too, sacrificing, dedicating, sacrificing, going to whatever they might do in order to train. It's the same shit, man. It ain't no different. So when somebody gets attacked by all these big names, Joe Rogan, Logan Paul, uh, Donald Dump, all these people that are going after this lady, uh, ain't none of them gonna apologize. You know what I'm saying? None of them apologize. Matter of fact, most of them will say it's some type of conspiracy. You know, conspiracy theorists. Carini. Okay, I already read that. Following her bronze win, the first for Algeria since 2000, Khelif shared her concern for her family amidst the bullying she'd been experiencing. I'm in contact with my family 2 days a week. She said, I hope that they weren't affected deeply. They are worried about me. God willing, this crisis will culminate in a gold medal, and that would be their best response. Okay. This is another article from the IOC. First respond Imane Khelif gender test report 14 months ago. The IOC, which is the International Olympic Committee, was warned in writing more than a year ago that Olympic women's boxer Imane Khelif had the DNA of a male. Mark Adams, spokesman for the IOC, confirmed the existence of the IBA, the International Boxing Association letter leaked to Three Wire Sports website on Sunday. Khelif and Lin Yu Ting have been at the center of a storm sweeping into their boxing semifinals despite previous IBA disqualification for gender eligibility. However, it has now emerged that the IBA, which has been repeatedly criticized by the IOC, told the Olympics told the Olympics in June last year of its test results on Khelif. One test in India last year and a prior test in Turkey in May 2022 concluded the boxer's DNA was that of a male consisting of XY chromosomes. The IBA correspondence in June 2023 said tests are not legitimate. On Sunday, the IOC confirmed receiving a letter from the IBA last year and did not dispute the contents of it during multiple questions at the daily press conference. However, the body insisted that the tests should be regarded as illegitimate as they conducted an ad hoc basis in the middle of last year's World Championship. First off, it won't surprise you to know I'm going to repeat the line that those tests are not legitimate tests, said Adams. So there was indeed a letter, I can confirm that, but the tests themselves, the process of the tests, the ad hoc nature of the tests are not legitimate. And you will also expect me to tell you that I'm not going to discuss the individual intimate details of athletes in public, which I think is pretty disgraceful for those who have leaked that material. Frankly, to be put in that position must be awful. On top of all that, the social media harassment that these athletes have had, Adams was speaking as Taiwan's Lin faced protests from her opponent as she was guaranteed a medal at the Paris Olympics. as Lynn swept into her semifinal just as easily as Imane Khelif had done the night before, losing Bulgarian opponent Sova, Sova, Sov, Svetlana Staneva pulled off her gloves, pointed to herself, and made a double tap X symbol with her fingers. The Bulgarian's coach had also been holding a white piece of paper with the words, "I only want to play with women. I am XX" scrolled on it. Fairness for sport campaigners have been outraged by fights in recent days, with both boxers easing past their opponents. But the IOC president Thomas Bach and his spokesman Adams have poured scorn on the IBA for allegedly fueling the flames around the flaming the fueling the flames around the furor. The IOC and the IBA organizations have been at war since 2019, when the IBA was suspended as the body leading Olympic boxing. On Saturday, the IBA announced it would award prize money to Angela Carini, whose fight against Khelif was ended in 46 seconds, as if she were an Olympic champion. Adams said that the IBA, run by Moscow-born administrators Umar uh, Krevlev, has no credibility. The IBA was stripped of its status as boxing's world governing body last year. That decision came from 4 months after the body disqualified Khelif and Lin from the 2023 World Championships. Kremlev last year described the IOC leadership as prostitutes in sports who get involved in politics. Despite the dispute between IOC and IBA intensifies, the IOC war with the IBA is likely to escalate on Monday, as the boxing body is hosting a press conference in Paris to set out its evidence. Adams, however, indicated he sees no reason for the test that took place to decide the two boxers' gender last year. The test was, so far as we can see, taken arbitrarily, he said. The decision the decision which I have seen reported is also berated the decision which I have seen reported is also related to the competition, where one of the boxers beat a Russian boxer, and I don't know if that's any truth in it. I know that the boxer did beat a Russian, but the very fact that the decision to do the testing was taken on the spot there, under what purpose the test was for, I don't know. We managed to do away with sex testing in the last century. He acknowledged there was an ongoing debate around protections for women's sport, not just in boxing, but nobody wants to go back to the days of sex testing. The IOC IBA dispute is at the center of an existential threat facing boxing. At the LA 2028, he suggested to Washington Post that Kremlev would ultimately like to see Olympic style boxing fail. Instead, it is world boxing. So it's just also they had linked. I don't know if the IOC. No, I don't think the IOC was, or the IBA, because that was a boxing association. But remember all the, what was it, 2016? All the BS behind Russian athletes in the. I think some of them were taking part, but they couldn't win. No, they couldn't win nothing. I think it was that, if I remember correctly, 2016. So this video went way longer than I expected, because I was only going to read the one the thing about Logan Paul, but the other two articles seemed very interesting to me. So why weren't so the IBA, International Boxing Association, why didn't they take these? Why didn't they do these tests before the competition started? Why did they wait? Like, why did they wait till, you know, uh, after the events got going, and we're well into them, and one of them beat a Russian boxer? Did they want to all of a sudden do these tests? Um, like I said, it's not like Imane Khelif was new. She already had been fighting at least 3 years before that, internationally. So, you know, the IBA, they said they've been involved with some funny style decisions and procedures, and so it's like they don't hold no weight. They don't hold no weight. So uh, what usually happens is when players get tested, they get tested, and then at some point the results come back. You know, uh, this they're fighting, and then all of a sudden they do it. They do it during the fight, test them. Kind of weird, right? And then since they have so much baggage already, the IBA, you can't even take that stuff legitly, like the president of the IOC said, or the spokesman of the IOC, the International Olympic Committee. So just something to think about. It's just something to prove that we shouldn't jump to conclusions all the time. Me speaking for myself, and I didn't feel right after I made that video. But like I said, that's why I emphasize on Algeria, where Algeria is located, what Algeria is as far as the religion, and something was telling me as I was talking, because I don't know about y'all out there, but y'all out there, but sometimes when I'm talking to somebody and I rephrase not I rephrase, but I reiterate something that I read, or maybe a message I got from somebody, and I'm taking it wrong. When I describe it and talk about it with somebody else, it allows me sometimes to understand it better. I don't know if you guys, any of you guys can can relate to that, right? So, in other words, even though you guys ain't talking back to me right now, I'm still talking to you guys. So, when I say things out loud, like I was that first video, when I say Algeria, I'm talking to myself in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And things are starting to make things turn, and to make you question, like, really? You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes it could be, wow, that sounds really bad, and put more pile more shit on there, for example. So I'm gonna go ahead and tap out on this one. I got about 3 or 4 videos scheduled for today. We'll see what happens. I got so many different ones. You know what I'm saying? I don't really want to put them out there, because if I don't end up doing them today and then tomorrow, I don't feel like doing those videos, because this political cycle. Every day there's so much coming out. I can't even keep up, right? So I really want to get back to doing a lot more sports videos. I got a lot of a lot of thumbnails already ready to go. Just got to start putting the content to them. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, Big Lou, tapping out.